America's Immigration and Custom Enforcement (ICE) has finally broken their silence on the detention of Ghana's former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. ICE told TV3 that Ken Ofori-Atta was picked up because he is living in the US as an illegal alien, and so he is facing deportation. Now, this brings to three the narratives around Ken Ofori-Atta's arrest. And let me explain. In their statement to TV3, ICE spokesperson said Ken Ofori-Atta is an illegal alien because he came to the US in May 2025 and his temporal visa expired on November 27, 2025, which means that he was supposed to leave the US by then. That is the statement they gave to TV3, right? That is one statement. Number two, Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyers say that Ken Ofori-Atta is living in the US legally because he's going through adjustment of status proceeding. That is statement number two. And then Ghana's Attorney General said Ken Ofori-Atta is living out of status in the US because his visa was revoked in in July or June. My point is, all these three different people have made three different statements about one event. Which of them's version of event should you believe? My view is none of them. Why? Because all of them has an incentive to tell you the version of event that aligns with their wanted, or was is it a wanted? Yeah, their expected end. All of them has an incentive to tell you a version of event that aligns with what they want to happen. You understand? So, Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyers are defending their clients, and they are not going to make up statements that can be proven to be false in court. So, if Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyers say that Ken Ofori-Atta is going through adjustment of status proceeding, I believe them. So that is true. Also, Ghana's Attorney General, I don't think will make up a statement that can be proven to be false. You understand? So if he said Ken Ofori-Atta visa was revoked, I also believe him. And number three, ICE did not bring up revocation. They just said Ken came to the US in May and his temporal visa expired in November and then he was supposed to leave. That is also different from the other two, but I also believe them. And I will explain to you why I believe all three of them, even though I said believe none of them. If I piece it together, you understand what I mean by I believe all three of them. And it doesn't matter what any of them is saying. My name is Enebi Tony. I'm a Ghanaian writer who lives in the US. On this channel, I talk about geopolitics and trade. So if you're into intellectual conversation, subscribe to this channel. Now, let's get into it. Number one, Ken Ofori-Atta's case is not a normal immigration case. Even though I statement to TV3, they talked about President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigrants. Let's be for real. When ICE arrests somebody in the US illegally, they work with law enforcement, local law enforcement. They don't work with FBI. We know that they work with FBI to arrest Ken Ofori-Atta. Number two, when Ken Ofori-Atta was arrested, FBI alerted Ghana's Attorney General that they have Ken Ofori-Atta in custody. They don't do that in normal immigration case. In a normal immigration case, if ICE arrests you, they tell you that you have the option to contact your embassy. So if you want to contact your embassy, ICE will facilitate that contact for you. You understand? Not Ghana's Attorney General in Ghana. They will contact the Ghana embassy in Washington, D.C. Just with that fact, we know that this is not a normal case. But ICE cannot go before a judge, an immigration judge, and tell the judge that this is not a normal case because in law you're supposed to have what we call equality before the law, right? And so ICE is going to go before a judge and make a case as if this is just a normal case. So ICE is going to tell the judge that Ken Ofori-Atta came to the US on this day. He was supposed to leave the US by this day. He did not leave. And so he is an illegal immigrant. We want him to leave. Period. ICE is going to tell the judge that. And now, the judge is going to ask Ken Ofori-Atta, do you agree or disagree with what I said? Because it's not a criminal case, they're not going to say you guilty or innocent. They are going to ask you, do you confirm or deny what I say? And 100%, I will tell you that Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyers is going to tell the judge that we deny, we don't agree with what ICE is saying. And so now, ICE would now be required to present to the judge facts or evidence that supports what they want to present to the court, right? And now, Ken Ofori-Atta will be required to also come and poke holes in what ICE is saying. So, I've said it before in an earlier video that ICE is under Homeland Security. ICE is under Homeland Security, but the department that deals with the adjustment of status is also a different department. We have ICE and you have USCIS. So, Ken Ofori-Atta's defense is most likely going to be that, well, what they are saying is true, my visa expired, but before my visa expired, I already applied for adjustment of status from USCIS, and that is where it gets dicey. So now the judge will require both of them to defend their positions with evidence, right? But of course, going through adjustment of status doesn't mean that your status have been confirmed. So eventually, Ken Ofori-Atta probably will be removed. But I can tell you that he's not going to be removed on Tuesday because he's going to mount a spirited defense against his removal. So back to what I mean by believing all three. Let me paint a picture for you. Ken Ofori-Atta came to the US in May. Ghana's Attorney General went to the US Attorney General to let him know that we are investigating Ken Ofori-Atta and we need him in Ghana. Can you help him? Can you help me out legally? He can do that. And then Ghana's Attorney General look at the evidence. US Attorney General look at the evidence and present it to and agrees with Ghana's Attorney General. So tells Ghana's Attorney General that, okay, I'm going to help you out by revoking his visa. That will happen in July, according to the narrative by Ghana's Attorney General. And now, between July and November, let's say they revoked his visa, but told him that you have up to November 27th to leave the US. Between when the visa is revoked and November 27th, he is still in status. If they gave him that date to leave, unless they gave him an earlier date to leave. But we know that ICE said that he had to leave by November 27th. So any day before November 27th, if he applies for adjustment of status from the USCIS, it will be treated like a normal adjustment of status. Unless they come up, USCIS finds out later on that there is something else happening here. They are not going to know that automatically. So you understand how all these three different events can be aligned and will still make sense, right? And it gives credence to my theory that the US Department of Justice do not want to go before a judge to go through the extradition process because it's a lengthy process. So they are trying to use the immigration process to remove Ken Ofori-Atta. That has always been my position from the beginning. And like I have always said, that is totally legal. It is not illegal to use one administrative tool you have to solve a problem, as long as you're not doing anything criminal. You understand? I just want to point out that Ghana's Attorney General, Ken Ofori-Atta's lawyer, and the US ICE are not automatically to be believed just because they made a statement. We need to wait for them to present their different versions of events before a judge on November 20th, which is Tuesday or Wednesday, I think it's Tuesday. And then when they present the case, the judge is going to piece all three different informations together and give us a picture that is clearer. That is why I keep saying that I only work with publicly available information. So now I'm going to treat all three information however I feel like that they are just making statements. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter to me right now. When they go before a judge, that's when you can ascertain the truth of what all of them are saying. That's what I wanted to let you know. All right. So I'll keep you updated if anything comes up, and subscribe to my channel if you are interested in understanding these issues from somebody who have an unbiased view of them. All right. I'll talk to you later.